Hello everyone, welcome back. We are going to be making Alfredo and homemade noodles. It is okay to make an Alfredo sauce that is low carb, gluten-free, also works for keto, and a lot of people tend to serve it over zucchini or spaghetti squash or sometimes just even over broccoli. But there is a recipe for noodles that are gonna look and taste like noodles. And you just have to have a few simple things on hand. The first thing you need to have is a blender. We have a NutriBullet. They mentioned Magic Bullet, but the first part is ridiculously easy. So what I'm going to do is, in order to make the noodles, I am going to take, and I've done some pre-measuring, I'm going to take 1/4 cup, which is 2 ounces of cream cheese, and put it in the blender. I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of butter. Reminder, it needs to be real butter, not margarine, preferably Kerrygold, as those are grass-fed animals, so you're not getting some of the crud that the other animals get. We always try to stay as healthy as we can when we are cooking. Yes, even with Alfredo. So we've got the cream cheese, we've got the butter, 4 tablespoons of almond flour. Please remember, low carb, keto, paleo, whole foods, we're getting rid of your all-purpose flours and the bad carbs. So 4 tablespoons of almond flour will be the type of flour that we use. And then a good binding agent, and it's also going to be our protein ingredient, is 3 eggs. Okay. Once you have that all put together, you just simply put the lid on and blend. Okay. I'm going to try to keep you guys kind of in my eyesight here as I do this. I do not have a big kitchen. All right. Can you guys still see me? I think you guys can. So I am just going to blend this up, and I'll show you what we do next. It will not take long to blend. I need to get everything to the bottom first. There we go. All right. And that's all she wrote. So you simply take the lid off. Everything is blended and it's nice and liquidy. You take a 13x9 pan and you set your oven to 300 to preheat. Just gonna put this in the sink. If you have a silicone mat, you can use one of those. I do not, or you can use parchment paper. If you use parchment paper like I did, please make sure that you grease it, because we don't want our noodles, these are going to become noodles, to stick at the end. So what I'm going to simply do is pour this all over the bottom of the 13x9 pan, and I'll scrape out any if I need to at the end. And I'll flatten it with, I have a little knife here that I can flatten it with. Just kind of move things around. And you want to form a rectangle as close to 13x9 as you can, but keeping obviously all of the liquid parts together. So just trying to do that. I can just tilt this back and forth. And the reason is, when we're done, we want this all connected because we're going to roll it. And that way we can make even portion sizes. So I'm just going to kind of slide the yolk back and forth, make sure I've got a good surface of egg dripping. So let me show you kind of what that looks like. As I'm putting things in the sink. Sorry about that, be right there. All right, so I'm back, and not leave you too long. So this is what your pan will look like, or if you have a silicone mat, it'll be on top of that. It's gonna go in at 300 degrees, and I wanna say it's for 8 minutes, but I'm gonna double check for you guys. Yes, for 8 minutes. Then you simply let it cool a couple minutes, you remove it, and you roll it, and we'll do that together in a few. So I'm gonna stick this in for 8 minutes, and we're gonna start the Alfredo sauce. All right. Okay, now for this next part, let me move over closer to the stove. Let me go in and out here a little bit. Sorry, my phone holder is not wanting to hold. Okay, Alfredo sauce, and then I will go over all of the nutrients for you guys. 1 tablespoon of butter, and I'm gonna get something to stir with. All right, so I just have a saucepan. I went with the bigger one, even though it doesn't call for a lot of ingredients. I just don't know how much it's gonna foam or boil. So I wanted to make sure I did it well for you guys. 6 cloves of garlic. I cheat and use this guy, but feel free to actually, mince your own garlic, but no. So 1/2 teaspoon is 1 clove. So if I'm doing the math, 2 cloves per teaspoon, so 2 for 3 teaspoons is 6 cloves. That's all I do. Don't ask me to do more than that. I'm a busy woman these days. Okay. Here we go. You want to melt the butter in the saucepan over medium heat with the garlic and saute until fragrant. So we're going to start with just that. While I'm doing that, getting just that part started, which should not take long, let me tell you a little bit about the noodles. So once again, the noodles that are cooking right now, a 1/4 cup of cream cheese, which is 2 ounces, so you can just cut on that 2-ounce line. 2 tablespoons of butter, 4 tablespoons of almond flour, and 3 eggs. Use a blender, or if you have one of the smaller gadgets like I do, a NutriBullet or a Magic Bullet, just blend in there. Pour into a 9x13 pan with either your silicone mat or parchment paper. If parchment paper, make sure you line it, and then spray it before you pour. And I will put a link for both of these in the YouTube. You'll cook for 8 minutes, and then you'll let it cool just a little bit. We'll log it up, and you'll see how I do that. I'll cut it into serving sizes, and then we'll turn them into spaghetti noodles. The noodles themselves are only 180 calories in a complete serving, 1 carb for the entire serving, and 6 grams of protein. So 180 calories, only 1 carb. That's pretty awesome, and you get 6 grams of protein from the eggs. All right, so here we are. The butter is almost melted. I should have had the burner heating. So we have a tablespoon of butter, pure butter, 6 cloves of garlic. Now, if you know anything about Alfredo sauce or Alfredo in general, they tend to be over 1,000-calorie dishes, especially if you go to a restaurant. And the total calorie count on this is 433 calories for your entire serving. So your calorie count is low. 4 carbs total. 1 carb for the noodles, 3 carbs for the sauce that I'm making. 6 grams of protein in the noodle. 3 grams of protein here, which is 9 grams of protein. Okay. All right, now we're getting a little bit of a bubble. So it says to add the heavy cream, 1.5 cups of heavy cream. Low carb, you can do heavy cream, you can do cheese, you can do Greek yogurt. But if you're gonna drink, you do almond milk, and you don't do regular yogurts, and that is because regular yogurts and regular cow's milk have a higher carb content. The heavy cream and the Greek yogurt has managed to pull all of that out, as well as the cheeses. So people wonder, well, how come I can have that but I can't have milk? So hopefully that explains a little bit to you guys. So we have 1.5 cups, of heavy cream. We're gonna bring it to a gentle simmer, and when it begins, add the heavy cream. I wanna see if I'm supposed to add the cheese yet. Okay, not yet. So we're gonna bring to a simmer, and then it's gonna start to thicken and reduce in volume. When it begins to reduce in volume, then I'm gonna add the cheese. So the only other thing is salt and pepper, and I will do that now, only because I like to add it at the beginning and flavor it through, then you don't mix spots. I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of salt, pink Himalayan sea salt, everybody, electrolytes, no iodine, stay away from that stuff. Also doesn't hurt your organs. And then coarse black salt, just however much you want. Now I know my husband, he's going to add more pepper later, but I have salted and peppered. Right back. And we're just waiting for this to reduce down. Okay, so far so good. This is a meal under 30. Now, if you are a low carb eater, which is what I am not truly keto, but this in itself can be used as a low carb or a keto meal. If it was a keto meal, this is it, and you might even double up your serving. If they're big on cheeses, big on cream. You may or may not do a low carb garlic roll if you want to. I do have a couple garlic rolls for my husband and my daughter, but not for me. But you might want to do that or put a side salad. Low carbers. If you're trying to maintain and you know that you don't have a vegetable in your dinner, this dinner does not have a vegetable. We're low carb, most of us know, but if you're new to the group, you want to try to get 4 to 5 cups of vegetables a day. So if you know your dinner is going to be a no veggie night, like the Alfredo here, this is kind of a comfort food night. So if you know that that's going to happen, have yourself a bigger lunch. So my lunch today was probably 3 cups of lettuce, romaine lettuce, and then I put my 4 ounces of protein on it, my low carb dressing, things like that. And then for breakfast, maybe do an omelet or something and put some veggies in with that. You want to make sure you put some good veggies in earlier in the day so that. And then a blooper reel begins. I had an Amber Alert that happened while I was recording, and I had to turn off the Amber Alert so you wouldn't hear all the beeps. When I did that, it automatically turned off the sound to the video, but I did not know that, and I kept cooking. So here we go with me doing a voiceover, and I don't read lips very well. So I realize now I can tell that the noodles are almost done, so I'm going to be pulling those out of the oven soon, while the cream for the Alfredo sauce is still cooking. I'm getting out some plates that I'm going to be showing you the final picture on. Those were made by my daughter when she was 2. And so you can see she's not very artistic, but we love them and we use them all the time. In fact, family members even got them for holiday presents. So we like them. We think that they're great and they're easy to clean. So now I'm checking on the cream and just making sure that everything is okay. And I want to make sure that it does reduce by 1/3 before I add the cheese. And I'm going to move stuff now so that you can see what the noodles will look like. So here come the noodles out of the oven. And I will move them over to another spot on the counter, and then we'll see the roll up here in just a second. And I'm going to move my phone so you can see it. Don't those look good? They look so nice. They were really, really easy to roll up to, guys. I just literally peeled off from the side and started rolling a log. They were easy, and you'll get to see that here in just a second. I have no idea what I'm saying here, so here's a little blooper reel. Maybe it's a joke. So anyways, we'll pretend it was a joke. And then I'm going to work on these noodles here for you. Oh, I'm adding the Parmesan cheese to the sauce before I head over to do the noodles. I can see what I'm doing now because it has reduced, and I'm going to move the heat to low so that way it will thicken and continue to reduce. You can always add more cheese if you want it to be creamier, or more cream if you want it to be creamier. So just judge the cheese or the cream accordingly. And once you kind of get it set on low, then you can switch over to moving on to the noodle part of the recipe. And comfort foods are totally okay every once in a while. Just make sure that if you're following a low carb or a keto diet, you are getting all of your nutrients in the earlier portion of the day if you're going to do a comfort meal like this for the evening.
I wish I could read lips. It looks like I'm excited about what I'm saying, but I don't know. So you guys totally have to leave comments on my YouTube or on Facebook, because the fact that I'm even speaking over myself right now, I find funny. All right. Oh, so now I'm adding the cheese. See, I told you I added the cheese earlier. I don't know. I was probably just talking smack with you guys, but I'm adding the cheese now. And it's half a cup of grated Parmesan. And like I said, you can add more later, or add more cream later if you think that it's too thick. And I'm going to stir it up and get it all nice and stirred, and then move it to low. I just spoke too soon. Sorry about that. And that's where I'm explaining about the Parmesan and the cream. So, but I just did that to you guys. Sorry I stepped away from the camera. I must not like to watching you for a minute. Just kidding. I'm just kidding, but I do see there's dishes in my sink to be done. And so now I'm putting in the garlic rolls for my husband and my daughter, who they did say it was very good. We have officially eaten our meal. And I will tell you that as I am doing all of this, that we all loved our meal. My husband and I loved the 6 cloves of garlic. My daughter said she wants to eat this again, but less garlicky. So what I think I'll do to make everybody happy is kind of just reduce it to 4 cloves of garlic. So if you like garlic, keep the 6. If you're not a fan, maybe bring it down to 2. And if you're going to do what I'm going to do to make my daughter happy, just kind of go to 4. I don't know. You do what you want to do. I have taken the parchment paper and pulled it off the pan so that I can get ready to roll up the log. And I'm just moving the pan and everything off to the side so that I get a nice workspace so that I can show you guys. And I'm starting to pull it off now, and I am so excited about how easy it is rolling. And I say something about the fact that I really wish you could see me rolling it up. But I literally just grab each edge and I just start rolling it up. It's kind of like you have Play-Doh in your hand, in all honesty, and you just roll and roll. Like a Fruit Roll-Up. You just roll it up. Okay. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like. And I'm even going to show you how the pan, for some reason, even made awesome portion sizes for me. That was kind of cool. I didn't know it was going to do that. So let me grab the camera and let me show you these. There's the log. And you'll even see that there's creases naturally from the parchment paper. So what I'm telling you is I'm going to cut it in half, and then I'm going to cut it in half again. But if you look, the indentions are already there. So that was kind of cool. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm doing the cutting. And then I'm going to literally slice them into spaghetti-sized noodles all the way through the ropes. And this was very, very fast to do. And because I moved each section to each different part of the pan, I knew exactly how much to put on each plate, and that makes that easier too. However, if you want to have a little bit more, the meal itself is low calorie, so if you want to up it to 450-ish calories, go, and there's only 3 people or something in the house, then have a slightly bigger serving, because that's still under a 500 calorie meal. And I mentioned that there because that's exactly what we did. I made 4 servings, but I turned it into 3. So we ended up having about 450 calories, which is still totally fine. And I'm trying to show you that they turn into spaghetti noodles. There we go. Now you can kind of see that. And I just literally unroll them on each plate. Sorry about the phone shaking on you. Next time I make a video for you, all those Christmas decorations will be gone. Oh, my land. Not until next year. We love Christmas at our house. All right, let me show you what the plates look like. So there they are with each one unrolled. That is equivalent to 1 serving. I have not divided up the 4th serving amongst us all. I did that afterwards when we decided we all wanted a smidge more, but still literally that barely upped our calories, maybe to 450. So not bad. And I'm just dividing up all of the other plates there to look exactly like the plate that I showed you. And then I'll check on the Alfredo sauce and see how it is doing. I believe I'm checking the sauce there, and I decided to add a smidge more, not much, just a smidge more of Parmesan. I want to say it was like 2 tablespoons, but that's because we like it a little bit thicker. It may have been totally perfect for you guys. It just depends on how thick or creamy you like it, but we did decide to add just a smidge more of the grated Parmesan to the Alfredo sauce. The cool thing about this while I'm doing this is this meal from entire start to stop is I'm videotaping it for you. It's literally a 25-minute meal from start to stop. If you get your oven preheated to 300 before you start and you put your pot on a medium heat so you're ready to go with the noodles, it would probably only be 20 minutes. I just forgot to preheat the stove, but I had the oven preheated for you guys. But very, very fast. And there is my daughter and my husband's garlic bread. Not for me. And I'm just starting to make sure I have everything to plate up for you so that you can see the finished product. And now I'm just cleaning up everything because whenever I show a demonstration plate, I don't like to have junk in the way. So I'm just throwing some stuff away real quick, and I am going to get ready to pour the sauce over the noodles. And here we go. It's a 1/4 cup of sauce that's supposed to be over the noodles, which will leave you with about a 1/2 cup of remaining sauce when you're left. So if you do have a side salad, or if you do make some low carb bread or something on the side, you could always use the remaining, what do you call it? Like a dipping sauce. That's what I'm trying to think about. If you wanted to, we actually got rid of the extra because the noodle recipe makes 4 servings and the Alfredo recipe makes 6. I will, as I promised, I will put both links in for you. And there it is. That is the Alfredo. It's as easy as that from start to finish. Really, really, it was a delicious, delicious meal, and we hope that you enjoy it. And it's comfort food, but it's healthy.